Good afternoon, folks. It's Robert Chappell, Executive Editor of Madison365 with your daily update for today, Wednesday, October 13th. We'll do some coronavirus COVID numbers first, and then we've got a whole bunch of local and state news for you, including some really startling numbers from the Sentencing Project that we'll get to in a minute, a few minutes. But first, the COVID situation right now is almost good news all the way across the board. We'll see how long this lasts. We'll see if some of this numbers get retroactively revised upward, as has been happening. But for today, it's looking pretty good, with one exception that I'll tell you about in a second. Average number of cases fell again by not quite 100. That's the second consecutive day it's been a big drop after several days of small drops. So it's been a downward trend of the 7-day average of new cases is now 2,318. It was over 2,400 yesterday. It was just under 2,500 the day before that, right? So that's good. Just for the day, we have 2,370 new cases, 2,370 new cases confirmed today, which brings our average for the past 7 days down to 2,318, 2,318. Even better news. This is still not great. Excuse me. This is still not great. Okay. I don't want to be too excited about this, but our percentage of positive tests, the number of all the tests in the past 7 days, 8.3% have been positive. That's a very high, very concerning number, but it was 8.7 yesterday. It was 9.2 over the weekend, or late last week, I should say. Okay, so we don't ever look at any number in isolation. We look at context and which way the trends are going. So that is, I wouldn't call it a trend yet. That's down from yesterday, right? 1 day is not a trend yet. So we'll take it, right? That number was right around 8% for the entire month of August, basically. And then went up to about 8.5, and then it was approaching to where it was going to sit at 9% for a while. But it's coming back down. So that's decent news. Now, 8.3% still too high. We want that number to be below 3%. That means there's adequate testing happening and that the infection is under control. It's not under control in Wisconsin right now, right? Despite these better numbers, which are, this is good news. These numbers are good news. We can't say that we have the thing under control at this moment. But improvement is good news. We'll take that, right? The other number that's good today, or that's not good, but it's better today, is hospitalizations. We're at 1,156 people currently hospitalized in the state of Wisconsin. That's 14 fewer than yesterday. So about a 1% decrease in the current hospitalized population. 304 of those are in intensive care units, though. So that's still about a third of those hospitalized are in intensive care. But that's also down about 2% since yesterday. So that's good, right? Any downward trend is good. The one number that is not great, none of these numbers are great. The one number that's not better is the daily average of deaths. And we knew this would happen. We have 25 more deaths confirmed today, 39 yesterday. The daily average of confirmed deaths is now 18. That's the highest that's been in quite some time. I want to say, going back to February was the last time we saw 18 deaths per day. Now, we don't like this. This is not a good number, but we knew this would happen because there's a significant lag between an increase in cases and an increase in deaths. So what we're seeing right now, this increase in average deaths per day, reflects the number of cases we had 6 and 8 weeks ago. So even if the cases continue to come down, that deaths is going to go up because they're already done. They've already happened. We're just now getting the reports of them. Right? It doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it acceptable. It doesn't make it okay. But that number does not reflect what's happening right now. It reflects what's happening a month ago. Okay. So that will continue to rise even as the cases come down, because those people have already passed away. We're just not getting the reports. Our total confirmed death toll now is 8,217, with another 907 probable COVID-19 deaths. Okay, so that's the COVID numbers for today. Not great, but better. That's the headline today. We'll be back right after this. We're going to take a short pause, and we have tons of state and local news for you right on the other side of this break. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. Thanks for sticking with us. Right here, we have a guy you might recognize named Monte Ball. He was one of the great running backs in the state of Wisconsin history for the University of Wisconsin, I should say. And he had a tough time after college. He went to the NFL and struggled with addiction and alcoholism, and is now out with a new book called Nowhere to Run. It's his memoir of dealing with addiction, struggling, and making it through and coming back and bouncing back. And now he's a public speaker and a motivational speaker and trying to do some good in the world. Angelica Usury, our reporter, spoke with him and has a really nice profile of him and the book. The book's available on Amazon.com. Read the story that we have. Go get the book. It's a good story. You'll like it. It is Adelante's big night. Adelante is an organization that encourages people of color to run for office. Mandela Barnes, we'll talk more about him in a few minutes. Mandela Barnes will be at the event tonight, which you see him here on the left. It's Calvin Barrett, the sheriff, in the middle, and our local artist Jenny Gao on the right. They're having their big reception and fundraiser tonight, looking for more representation in elected offices. Diana Chenal has been named interim director of the Lucier Community Center. Lucier Community Education Center, after Paul Terranova left the position after 21 years at the end of September. Diana will run that the West Side Education Center on an interim basis until a permanent director is hired by the board. Speaking of Mandela Barnes, campaign finance reports are not due until Friday, so we have not seen his actual third quarter report. If you know anything about, I'm still getting used to my new setup here, guys. And I can't get my mouse to go back over to the other side. Where'd it go? There we go. The campaign finance reports are due on Friday, so we won't see the actual all the expenditures and donations for the period from July 1st to September 30th. He launched his campaign on July 10th, so this first report will basically cover the entirety of his campaign so far. But he announced today that report will show that he raised $1.12 million in that first 10 weeks of the campaign. He says, I don't know if I can verify this or not, but he says that's the best first quarter of a first-time Senate campaign in state history. It is a remarkable number. There's over $1 million in 10 weeks. We will see where that money came from. He says it came from 15,000 donations. The average donation, he says, is $49.94. He says he's got all 72 counties represented. I would imagine there's some out-of-state money as well. We'll find that out on Friday or Monday next week, whenever the campaigns have to submit their reports on Friday. The FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, may or may not make them available on their website immediately. So as soon as we can get them, we're going to look at all of the Senate race campaign finance reports. We'll see how much of that money came from Wisconsin. He does have a pretty big national profile right now. So I would not be surprised to see some money come from out of state. And there's not that there's anything wrong with that necessarily, but we'll have all that breakdown for you as soon as we can, because that's a big race. There's 9 Democrats running for the privilege to run against Ron Johnson or whoever the Republicans put up in that race. And finally today, Wisconsin Watch reports that Wisconsin incarcerates 1 out of 36 Black people in the state. In Wisconsin, you are 12 times more likely to be incarcerated if you're Black than if you're white. That's the highest rate in the United States. If you are Black, you are not 12 times more likely to commit a crime. That's just not the case. But you are 12 times more likely to be incarcerated. There are massive implications to that, obviously, in terms of workforce, in terms of education, in terms of family structure. Wisconsin Watch, this is a report from the Sentencing Project. And Wisconsin Watch, Claire Amari from Wisconsin Watch grabbed that report and wrote up a very good and comprehensive deep dive into the data. And we have that published right now at Madison365.org. Take a look at that when you get a minute. That is all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful evening. It's already getting dark. That's that time of year again, isn't it? It's not even 5 o'clock and it's about to get dark. But I hope you can enjoy your evening anyway. And we'll be back tomorrow with more news from Madison365.org. Next week, the updates will be a little bit later just because we have the Wisconsin Leadership Summit. It goes till 5 every day. So I'll be doing the update after that each day next week. So until then, until tomorrow, have a wonderful evening and we'll see you soon.
This is 365 Media.